The word Lal in Bangla means red and Shalu means a piece of cloth. Therefore, the Bangla title Lal Shalu means a piece of red cloth. Who is the head of the village? Nawabpur. Mutalif Khan is the head of the village Nawabpur. Why is Papachi jealous of Mamachi? Papachi was jealous of Mamachi's public reputation as a pickle maker. In what sense is Valuta a social rebel? Valuta was never a criminal or a party to evil, but he committed what society would call antisocial act. Society was never kind to him, and like a true rebel, he sought his philosophy in himself and acted, never bothering about the consequence. What did baby Kochamma do to attract the attention of Father Mulligan, the young priest? In order to attract Father Mulligan's attraction, baby Kochamma would forcibly bath a poor peasant kid in the public well every Thursday morning so that the young priest might consider her generous and fall in love with her. On what charge was Nazrul arrested by the British Raj Police? Nazrul was arrested by the British Raj Police on charge of sedition. Which poem of Nazrul does reveal his mysticism? Among the poems of Shammubadi, the poem Shammubadi on equality and that happy land reveals the poet's mystic mind in the best way. What is the basic principle of Nazrul's sense of equality? The basic principle of Nazrul's sense of equality was love for mankind. Why did not Yunuka have a grave? Yunuka did not have a grave because he died of swelling, which as abomination to the earth goddess, and a man who died of swelling was not allowed to die in the house and be buried. What was the feast of the new yam for? The objective of the new yam was to honor the earth goddess and the ancestral spirits of the clan. What do you know about Mau Mau revolt? The Mau Mau revolt of Mau Mau uprising was an armed resistance against the British colonizers led by Dedan Kimathi. The period between 1950 and 1960 was the high time of Mau Mau revolt. Who are the Samaritans? A Samaritan is a charitable or helpful person. Munira, Abdullah, and Karega are called the Good Samaritans because they have taken measures to do something for the drought-ridden people of Ilmorok. What is the name of the Bengali original of the novel Tree Without Roots? The name of the Bengali original of the novel Tree Without Roots is Lal Shalu. Who is the head of the village? Nawabpur. Matlub Khan. Matlub Khan is the head of the village Nawabpur. Who are the central figures in the novel The God of Small Things? The plot of The God of Small Things centers around Ishtha and Rahel, fraternal boy and girl twins living with their divorced mother, Ammu, and her family in IMNM. What is the real name of baby Kuchamma? The real name of baby Kuchamma was Navomi Ipe, the daughter of Reverend E. John Ipe, a Syrian Christian of IMNM in the Indian state of Kerala. What was Baba Ammu's husband? Baba, belonging to a once wealthy Jumidar family of East Bengal before partition, migrated to Calcutta and was serving as an assistant manager of a tea estate in Assam. Who is Nazrul Islam? Qazi Nazrul Islam was the rebel poet of Bengal and now he is recognized as the national poet of Bangladesh. What was Nazrul's first poem? Nazrul's first poem, Mukti, Freedom, was published by the Bangla Musalman Sahitya Putrika in July 1990. Who is Chinua Achebe? Chinua Achebe is a Nigerian novelist and author of Things Fall Apart, a work that in part led to his being called the patriarch of the African novel. What is the Things Fall Apart? Things Fall Apart is an American novel written by Chinua Achebe. What is Agbala? Agbala means woman or man who has taken no title. How did Okonkwo die? He commits suicide by hanging. Who is Ngugi Thiong'o? Ngugi wa Thiong'o is a Kenyan writer. His work includes novels, plays, short stories, and essays, ranging from literary and social criticism to children's literature. He is the founder and editor of the Gikua language journal Mutiiri. Who is the god of small things? The novel is dedicated to Roy's mother, Mary Roy, who struggled to rise Arundhati on her own while teaching in the rural village of Aimanam in southwestern India in Kerala state. How does Okonkwo die? He commits suicide by hanging. What does the thunder in the sky symbolize? The thunder in the sky symbolizes the threat of the British imperialistic rules. What does you know about Vanja's first love? Vanja's first love is with one of the high school friend. However, once she was seen with him and was severely beaten by her father. Whom did Chaco marry at Oxford? While at Oxford, Chaco married Margaret Kochamma, a waitress at a cafe. Who is Chaco in The God of Small Things? Chaco is the son of Papachi, Benan Ibe, and Mamachi Shoshamma of the IMNM family in Kerala, as presented in The God of Small Things. Who is Ammu in The God of Small Things? Ammu, as represented in The God of Small Things, is the daughter of Papachi, Benam Ibe, and Mamachi Shoshamma, and mother of the twins, Ishtha and Rahel. What was Nazrul's first prose work? Nazrul's first prose work, Boundeler Atto Kahini, Life of Vagabond, was published in May 1990. What happened to Rahel after the death of her mother? After the death of Ammu, Rahel's mother, she drifted from school to school. She was largely neglected and ignored by Chaco and Mammachi. How did Nazrul criticize Khilafat movement? Nazrul criticized Khilafat movement, condemning it is hollow religious fundamentalism. How did Papachi behave with his wife? Papachi beat his wife Mamachi every night with a flower vase, even without any cause. What was the discovery of Papachi as an entomologist? While working as joint director entomology, a moth fell into his drink one evening, and having a closer look, he saw its usually dense dorsal tuft. He thought it to be belonging to a new species. Why does the raped and revenged land yield no more? The raped and revenged land yields no more because it is plucked and replucked, sown and reshown all the year round, but it gets almost no nourishment but the silt from flood water. How does the ordinary grave take the shape of a mazar? Mujid appears in the village and clears the grave. The grass and trees are cut so that sunlight can reach the place because the place remains in darkness for long. He mends the tomb artistically. Its upper surface is covered with the red cloth with silver trimmings that is the symbol of holiness. Holy men's grave are worked by the red cloth. In this way, the ordinary grave takes the shape of a mother. How does the beard's fame grow? Countless tales about the beard's marvelous powers passed from mouth to mouth, from village to village, and even from one region to another. He commanded respect and reverence as the guardian of saint's grave. Now embellished with a red cloth, silver trimmings, and a yellow canopy, but there were no miraculous tales about the spiritual power to his credit. Why did Mojit take a wife? Mojit, the protagonist of the novel, is a very powerful person. He himself built a mazar for the performance of religious activities. He also built an inner house. He also made a rack for rice staples stored as cattle feed, and a shed to keep and milk the cows he had brought. For maintaining the household activities, he badly needs a wife. So he wants a wife to do his household activities. Why was Rohima concerned about Amina? Rohima was concerned about the activities of Mujid. She wanted to give Amina some food to break her long fast. When Amina fell onto the ground, she became confused and filled with concern. She and Kulsum went together and carried Amina into the house. What made Papachi unhappy in conjugal life? After his retirement from government job, he always thought that he was 17 years older than his wife, Mamaji. This realization that he was an old man while his wife was still young made him unhappy. Why did baby Kochamma fail in life? Baby Kochamma went to Madras, converted herself to a Catholic, and became a nun in the convent of Father Mulligan. Even then, the priest remained inaccessible to her. Thus, she failed in her love. What is Chaco's attitude to life? Chaco's attitude to life may be marked in his exchanges of pleasantries with the twins. Human beings are prisoners of war belonging to nowhere, sailing unencumbered on troubled seas, etc. Where was Nazrul's body buried? In accordance with a wish Nazrul had expressed in one of his poems, his body was laid in the rest beside a mosque on the campus of the University of Dhaka. What should a man do to acquire wisdom? The poet suggests that a man should open his heart through spiritual exercise, and then he would find therein all the holy books, all religions, and all prophets. Who was Chengiz? Chengiz Khan was the founder and great Khan emperor of the Mongol Empire, which by the end of his life occupied a great portion of Central Asia and China. What does the thunder in the sky symbolize? The thunder in the sky symbolizes the threat of the British imperialistic rulers. What is the meaning of the Bangla title Lal Shalu? Lal Shalu means a piece of red cloth. Who is Amina? Amina is the first wife of Khalik. She has been married for 13 years but childless. She is now over 30. What is the setting of The God of Small Things? The novel The God of Small Things is set in IMNM, a village in the south-western Indian state of Kerala in 1969 and 1993. Whom did Chaco marry at Oxford? While at Oxford, Chaco married Margaret Kochamma, a waitress at a cafe. Who is Sophie Mall? Sophie Mall, a pivotal character in The God of Small Things, is the half English, half Indian daughter of Chaco and Margaret Kochamma. What was Nazrul's first wife? Nazrul's father was the imam and caretaker of the local mosque and mausoleum. Who was the darling of Arabia? Prophet Muhammad was the darling of Arabia. What is Bedouin? The Bedouins are Arab semi-nomadic people who descended from nomads historically inhabited the Arabian and Syrian deserts. Who is Okowe? Okowe was a neighbor of Yunuka, and from him Yunuka borrowed some money. What was the oracle called? The oracle was called Akbala. Who is Abdullah? Abdullah is an ex-Momo fighter who now runs a shop for survival. What is Muratina? Muratina is a type of drink less intoxicating than Dangeta. It was the only drink allowed by the colonial administration. Write the title of Nuzul's poems in English in your syllabus. The Rebel of Equity and That Happy Land. Man, be where my captain. What is the nationality of Ngugi wa Thiong'o? He is a Kenyan. Write one of the symbolic meanings of Lal Shalu. Lal Shalu symbolizes power. What does things fall apart mean? If something that is expected to last forever comes to an end, it is called things fall apart. Which society is portrayed in Things Fall Apart? Igbo society. Mention the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood. Kenyan independence after the Mau revolution provides the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood. Who is Abdullah? Abdullah is an ex-Mau fighter who now runs a shop for survival. Where is the title Things Fall Apart taken from? The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats is the source of the title Things Fall Apart. What type of man is Majid? Majid is a fraud. What kind of poem is Kandari Ushir? It is a patriotic chorus. What are the major themes of Nuzul's poetry? Love, freedom, and revolution are the major themes of Nuzul poetry. What does Majid say about Amina's delirium? On hearing about Amina's delirium, Majid tells Khalid that it is a common incident to those who are sinners in the world. He emphasizes that a sinner suffers inwardly. Majid practices his power that he gets from the Mazar as a religious leader and compels Khalid believe that his wife is a sinner. Name the major character in the novel The God of Small Things. So Rahel is Thappen, Ammu, Baby Kozamma. Sophie, Mol, Valuta, and Chaco are the major characters. What is the source of the title of the novel Things Fall Apart? The title of the novel is taken from the poem The Second Coming, written by W.B. Yeats. Who is Baby Kocharma? Baby Kocharma is the younger sister of Papachi. Papachi, when she was young, she tried to marry Father Mulligan but failed. Who is Godfrey Munira? Godfrey Munira is a school teacher who runs a school for the children of Ilmorog. What finally happened to Wanja? Wanja is reconciled with her mother. What is War Bugle? War Bugle is a musical instrument that is used in war to call soldiers. In the poem Bidrohi, it represents revolt and destruction. What is the setting of the novel Tree Without Roots? The setting of the novel Tree Without Roots is a rural Bangladeshi village. What is Ilmorog? Ilmorog is a place where all the major characters of the novel encounter each other. What happened during an Easter week? Mr. Kiyaga asked some women to bring water, some to bring red earth and some others to bring white chalk. But all of them returned empty because they were either drive away or whipped heavily. Who is Ngugi wa Thiong'o? Ngugi wa Thiong'o is a Kenyan post-colonial writer. He was born in 1938. He is still alive. Who is the head of the village Nawabpur? Motalab Khan is the head of the village Nawabpur. What made Papaji unhappy in conjugal life? Lagbana. Where did Jesus and Moses find the eternal truth? Heart. The poet thinks represent the mosque, the temple, and the church, and it was through his heart that Jesus Christ and Moses found the light of truth. What do you know of Mahmud of Ghuzni? Sultan Mahmud of Ghuzni was the most powerful ruler of the Ghaznavid Empire. During the rule, he invaded and plundered parts of Hindustan 17 times. Why did people laugh at Eunuka? People laughed at Eunuka because he was a loafer who was murdered in petals of blood. Three influential business magnates, Mijigo, Chui, and Kaimeria are murdered. All of them are the directors of the Thien Eta Breweries and Enterprise Limited. What is Muratina? Muratina is a type of drink less intoxicated than Tangseta. It was the only drink allowed by the colonial administration. Why was Rohima concerned about Amina? Rohima was concerned about the activities of Mojid. She wanted to give Amina some food to break her long fast. When Amina fell into the ground, she became confused and filled with concern. She and Kulsum went together and carried Amina into the house. Where did Ammu die? At the age of 31, Ammu died. When was poet Nuzul brought to Dhaka? Qazi Nuzul was brought on 24 May 1972. Who was Ajiani? Ajiani was the priest of the earth goddess. What is Wanja's new job? Wanja's new job at Ilmorog is as a barmaid in Abdullah's shop. What is the meaning of Banga title Lal Shalu? Lal Shalu means a piece of red cloth. Who are the central figures in the novel The God of Small Things? The plot of The God of Small Things centers around Istha and Rahel, a fraternal boy and girl twins living with their divorced mother Ammu and her family in IMNM. What was the nickname of Nuzul in his early life? In his early life, Nuzul was nicknamed Dukhumiya, sad man. Which collection of Nuzul's poetry does include Manush, man? The poem Manush is included in Nuzul's political collection Shammubadi, published in 1925. Why does Mojid take a wife? Mojid, the protagonist of the novel, is a very powerful man. He himself built a mazar for the performance of religious activities. He also built an inner house. He also made a rack of rice stalks stored as cattle field and a shade to keep and milk the cows he had brought. For maintaining the household activities, he badly needs a wife, so he wants a wife to do his household activities. What kind of song is Kandari Hushiyar? Kandari Hushiyar is a chorus song with the tone of patriotism. What kind of dress did Sophie Mole wear? Sophie Mole would always wear bell-bottom pants and carry around her made in England go-go bag. Why was Rohima concerned about Amina? Rohima was concerned about the activities of Mojid. She wanted to give Amina some food to break her long fast. When Amina fell onto the ground, she became confused and filled with concern. She and Kulsum went together and carried Amina into the house. When did Qazi Nazrul Islam write the poem Bidrohi? The poem was written in December 1921. Why did Rahel's married life come to an end? Larry McCaslin liked Rahel very much, but when they made love, he was offended by her eyes, which empty and indifferent, were searching for another, perhaps her twin brother Esther. So they were soon divorced. What is the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood? Kenyan independence after the Momo Revolution provides the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood. On what charge was Nazrul arrested? Nazrul was arrested by the British Raj Police on charge of sedition. What is the meaning of the Bangla title Lal Shalu, a piece of red cloth? Where do the two brothers Tahir and Kadir see the stranger? When the sun is low on the horizon and the two brothers Tahir and Kadir go by the side of Motiganj Road while fishing in the marshy paddy fields, they see a stranger standing on the mentioned road. Who are the central figures in The God of Small Things? The plot of The God of Small Things centers around Esther and Rahel, fraternal boy and girl, twins living with their divorced mother Ammu and her family in I Am Adam. What is Papachi? Papachi is the father of Chapo and Ammu. He is the husband of Mamachi. He is an imperial entomologist who discovered a new species of moth, but then didn't have it named after him. What is the basic principle of Nazrul's sense of equality? The basic principle of Nazrul's sense of equality was love for mankind. What did the hungry traveler tell the priest? The traveler was very tired and hungry. He told the priest that he had not eaten anything for the last 7 days and asked for some food. What kind of song is "Be War My Captain"? Kandari Hushiar is a chorus song with a tone of patriotism. Why is the great Himalayan peak cast down? The great Himalayan peak is cast down, seeing the great height of the head of the valley. What is the setting of the novel? Things fall apart. The novel is set in lower Nigerian village Iguedo and Mbanta in particular in 1890s. What was Izinma called because of her beauty? She was called a crystal of beauty as her mother had been called in her youth. What is the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood? Kenyan independence after the Momo Revolution provides the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood. What piece of information shocked Munira? Munira is shocked by the confession of Karega that his sister Mukami was Karega's beloved and that his father's ear was cut by Karega's brother and Danguri, who was a Momo fighter. How did Amina feel in the mazar room? Amina felt somewhat comfortable as the atmosphere of the mazar room was quiet. She silently stood beside the mazar and looked at the grave. She was motionless and expressionless. Then Mojid asked Khalid to call his wife. Khalid requested his wife to sit down and she obeyed slowly and silently. Majid is very astonished to see the silence of the woman. Why was Rohima concerned about Amina? Rohima was concerned about the activities of Majid. She wants to give Amina some food to break her long fast. When Amina fell into the ground, she became confused and filled with concern. She and Kulsum went together and carried Amina into the house. Why did Majid take a wife? Majid, the protagonist of the novel, is a very powerful person. He himself built a mazar for the performance of religious activities. He also built an inner house. He also made a rack of rice, stalks stored as cattle field, and a shade to keep and milk the cows he had brought. For maintaining the household activities, he badly needed a wife. So he wants a wife to do his household activities. Who was the head of the village? Nawapur. Mutlaf Khan is the head of the village, Nawapur. Why is Papachi jealous of Mamachi? Papachi was jealous of Mamachi's public reputation as a pickle maker. How does Okonko die? He commits suicide by hanging. What was the oracle called? The things fall apart. The oracle was called Akbala. Who are Samaritans? A Samaritan is a charitable or helpful person. Munira, Abdullah and Karega are called the good Samaritans because they have taken measures to do something for the drought-ridden people in Moro. Why did Amu choose Valenta as her lover? Amu, a young woman of 27, separated from her husband, was isolated everywhere. She was badly in need of the company of someone for consolation and Valuta, being that someone whom she knew intimately from her childhood, became her natural choice. What did the Igbos do with twin babies? The Igbos left the twin babies in the evil forest to die and rot. Why does Jamila fail to say day's last prayer? In Tree Without Root, the character of Jamila is a symbol of restlessness, impudence and rebellion. Majid wants the villagers to say prayers 5 times a day. His second wife Jamila lives in his house, yet she does not care to say prayers 5 times a day. She always falls asleep at the time of last prayer and falls asleep. For this reason, Majid becomes furious to her. Who is Mawathi? Mawathi is the town's prophet and medicine man. Why did Waliullah's literary activities began? Waliullah's literary activities began when, as a student at Feni High School, he edited a handwritten magazine called Bhorer Alo. What is the name of the Bengali original of the novel Tree Without Roots? The name of the Bengali original of the novel Tree Without Roots is Lal Shalu. What was the nickname of Nuzrul in his early life? Nuzrul was nicknamed Dukhul Mia. Which theatre did Nuzrul join in his boyhood? Attracted to folk theatre, Nuzrul joined a lato run by his uncle Fazle Karim. What prize was Arundhati awarded for writing The God of Small Things? Arundhati Roy was awarded the Booker Prize in London on 14 October 1997 for writing her masterpiece The God of Small Things. Who are the central figures in the novel The God of Small Things? The plot of The God of Small Things centers around Ashtha and Rahel, fraternal boy and girl twins living with their divorced mother Ammu and her family in IMNN. What kind of song is Kandari Hushiyar? Kandari Hushiyar is a chorus song with a tone of patriotism. When did Kazi Nazrul Islam write the poem Bidrohi? Kazi Nazrul Islam wrote the poem Bidrohi in December 1921. Who is Ngugi wa Thiong'o? Ngugi wa Thiong'o is a Kenyan post-colonial writer. He was born in 1938. He is still alive. Who is Wanja? Wanja is the granddaughter of Nayakinwa. After working as a barmaid in the town, she was returned to her grandmother at Ilmorog. Then, after a brief disappearance, she again comes to live with her grandmother. How is Kimeria killed? Kimeria is killed by one Zulu who hurt him with a heavy frying pan. Who is Okoya? Okoya was a neighbor of Yunoka, and free him Yunoka borrowed some money. And from him, Yunoka borrowed some money. In The God of Small Things, who or what is The God of Small Things? It is a semi-autobiographical novel of Arundhati Roy. Who is Mamathi? Mamathi is the town's prophet and medicine man. Pinakpani. The trident of Pinakpani refers to three-paunched spear of the god Shiva. How does Okun die? He commits suicide by hanging. What is the consequence of Wanja's love with Kimeria? Wanju got pregnant by Kimeria, who refused to take her. Consequently, Wanju ran out of her house and became a barmaid at the town. Whom did Chaco marry at Oxford? At Oxford, Chaco married Margaret Kosamma, a waitress at the cafe. What message does the rebel carry? The rebel carries the message of revolt to the earth and the sky. What is the setting of Things Fall Apart? The novel is set in lower Nigerian village Iguedo and Mbanta in particular in 1980s. Why did the priest Mullah drive away the hungry traveler at last? When hungry traveler told that he did not say prayer in his life, the Mullah shut the door on his face. Why does Munira develop a relationship with Julia? Munira develops a relationship with Julia with an intention to make Wanju jealous. What does the thunder in the sky symbolize? The thunder in the sky symbolizes the threat of the British imperialistic rulers. What was the oracle called in Things Fall Apart? The oracle was called Aghwala. What was the profession of Mojid in the Garo Hills? In Garo Hills, Mojid was a Muazzin. Why does Jamila fail to say Day's last prayer? In Tree Without Roots, the character of Jamila is a symbol of restlessness, impudence, and rebellion. Majid wants the villagers to say prayers 5 times a day. His second wife Jamila lives in the house, yet she does not care to say prayers 5 times a day. She always falls asleep at the time of last prayer and falls asleep. For this reason, Mojid becomes furious to her. What is the setting of the novel The God of Small Things? Arundhati Roy was awarded the Booker Prize in London on 12 October 1997 for writing her masterpiece The God of Small Things. Why did Baby Kosamma fail in life? Baby Kosamma went to Madras, converted herself to a Catholic, and became a nun in the convent of Father Mulligan. Even then, the priest remained inaccessible to her. Thus, she failed in her love. On what charge was Nuzrul arrested? Nuzrul was arrested by the British Raj police on charge of sedition. Which poem of Nuzrul does reveal his mysticism? Among the poems of Shamobadi, the poem Shamobadi reveals the poet's mystic mind in the best way. What is the basic principle of Nuzrul's sense of equality? The basic principle of Nuzrul's sense of equality was love for mankind. Who was Chengiz? Genghis Khan was the founder of Great Khan Emperor of the Mongol Empire, which by the end of his life occupied a great portion of Central Asia and China. What images do symbolize danger on the way of freedom struggle? The images like vast desert, lofty hill, fathomless ocean, dark night, swelling water, thunder, and storm symbolizes danger on the way of freedom struggle. When will the rebel rest in peace? The great rebel will rest in quiet only when he would find the sky and the air free of piteous groans of the oppressed. What is the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood? Kenyan independence after the Momo Revolution provides the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood. How did Abdullah become a shopkeeper? Abdullah restored an abandoned building originally owned by an Indian and started a shop with the help of Joseph. Who is Sufi Mol? Sufi Mol, a pivotal character in the God of Small Things, is the half English, half Indian daughter of Chaco and Margaret Kosamma. Where did Ammu die? Ammu died in a grimy room of the Varod Lodge in Aleppi, where she had gone for appearing at an interview for the job of secretary. What is the basic principle of Nuzrul's sense of equality? The basic principle of Nuzrul's sense of equality was love for mankind. Why did Mojit take a wife? Mojit, the protagonist of the novel, is a very powerful person. He himself built a mazar for the performance of religious activities. He also built an inner house. He also made a rack for rice stocks stored as cattle field and a shade to keep and milk the cows he had brought. For maintaining the household activities, he badly needs a wife. So he wants a wife to do his household activities. Why is Chakra and Shankha? Chakra and Shankha are two most powerful weapons in the hand of Lord Vishnu, according to Hindu mythology. How did Okonko rule his household? He ruled his household with a heavy hand. Who was Ajiani? Who was Ajiani? Ajiani was the priest of the earth goddess. What was the feast of the new yam for? The objective of the new yam was to honor the earth goddess and the ancestral spirit of the clan. What did the two outcasts do? They shaved off their tangled hair as soon they were among the strong adherents of the new faith. What is the source of the title? The title of the novel Things Fall Apart. The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats is the source of the title Things Fall Apart. What is the profession of Godfrey Munira? He is a school teacher. Why does Karega return to Ilmorog again? Karega returns to Ilmorog as he is fired from the factory in the town. He is sacked because he tries to establish a workers' union to protect their right. What is the meaning of the Bangla title Lal Shalu? The word Lal in Bangla means red and Shalu means a piece of cloth. Therefore, the Bangla title Lal Shalu means a piece of red cloth. How does the ordinary grave take the shape of a mazar? Mojid appears in the village and clears the grave. The grass and trees are cut so that sunlight can reach the place. Because the place remains in darkness for long. He mends the tomb artistically. Its upper surface is covered with red cloth with silver trimmings. That is the symbol of holiness. Holy men's grave are worked by the red cloth. In this way, the ordinary grave takes the shape of mazar. What did baby Kochamma do to attract the attention of Father Mulligan, the young priest? In order to attract Father Mulligan's attention, baby Kochamma would forcibly bath a poor peasant kid in the public well every Thursday morning, so that the young priest might consider her generous and fall in love with her. Why did Majid take a wife Laguna? What is the real name of baby Kochamma? The real name of baby Kochamma is Nabhumi Ipe, the daughter of Reverend E. John Ipe, a Syrian Christian of IMNM in the Indian state of Kerala. In what scene is Valutha a social rebel? Valutha was never a criminal or a party to evil, but he committed what society could call antisocial act. Society was never kind to him. And like a true rebel, he sought his philosophy in himself and acted never bothering about the consequence. When was Nazrul awarded the citizenship of Bangladesh? Kazi Nazrul Islam was awarded the citizenship of Bangladesh in January 1976. What is the main theme of Nazrul's Beware My Captain? Nazrul's Kandari Hushiyar is a passionate appeal to the Indians, especially the Congress, to work more determinedly for the cause of Hindu-Muslim unity, so urgently needed in the struggle for freedom against the British colonial rule. Who was Okonko ashamed of his father? Because his father was heavily in debt and had taken on title. What did Okonko do after beating his second wife? He wanted his rusty gun as he was to go out hunting. His second wife made some remark about his rusty gun. Okonko took the loaded gun and shot at her as she was clambering over the barn wall. Fortunately, she was unhurt. Who is Ngugi Thiong'o? Ngugi Thiong'o is a Kenyan post-colonial writer. He was born in 1938. He is still alive. What is the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood? Kenyan independence after the Momo Revolution provides the background of the Nobel Petals of Blood. So why did Mojid take a wife? Laguna. Who is Jamila? Jamila is the second wife of Mojid in the tree without roots. What is etymology? Etymology is a science related to the study of insects. Who was Baby Kochamma? Baby Kochamma is the younger sister of Papachi. When she was young, she tried to marry Father Mulligan but failed. What was Nuzul's first poem? Nuzul's first poem, Mukti, was published by the Bangla Musulman Sahitya Patrika. Who was Genghis? Genghis Khan was the founder and great Khan emperor of the Mongol Empire, which by the end of his life occupied a great portion of Central Asia and China. Who was Amalinze called the cat? Why was Amalinze? He was called the cat because his back would never touch the earth. From where does Ngugi wa Thiong'o take the epigraphs of his novel? Ngugi wa Thiong'o takes the epigraph of his novel from the Book of Revolution of the New Testament and from Walt Whitman's poem titled Europe in 72D and 73D years of these states. What is Mukami? Mukami, the sister of Munira, committed suicide several years ago because of her failed love. When did Umofia go to war? Umofia went to war only when the case was clear and just accepted by its oracle. The oracle of the hills and caves. What is Bedouin? The Bedouins are Arab semi-nomadic people who descended from nomads historically, inhabited the Arabian and Syrian deserts. Who is Darbasha? Literally, Darbasha means ill cloth. He is a well-known sage who was noted for his irascible temper, and many fell under his curse. It was he who cursed Shakuntala for keeping him waiting at the door, and so caused the separation between her and King Dushyant. What is the basic principle of Nuzul's source of equality? The basic principle of Nuzul's sense of equality is his love for mankind. What is the setting of the novel, the god of small things? Ayamanam is an actual town in the southern Indian state of Kerala. It's spelled Ayamanam. Arundhati Roy spent childhood there. And it is the main setting for the novel, The God of Small Things. Why does Jamila fail to say Day's last prayer? Jamila fails to say Day's last prayer because he falls asleep. What is the profession of Majid in the Garo Hills? In Garo Hills, Majid was a Muazzin. What is the source of the title of the novel Things Fall Apart? The title of the novel is taken from the poem The Second Coming, written by W. Yeats. Who is the God of Small Things? The novel is dedicated to Roy's mother, Mary Roy, who struggled to raise Arundhati on her own while teaching in the rural village of Aimanam in southwestern India, in Kerala state. Whom did Chalk marry at Oxford? While at Oxford, Chaco married Margaret Uthamma, a waitress at a cafe. What message does the rebel carry? The rebel carries the message of revolt to the earth and the sky. What is the setting of Things Fall Apart? The novel is set in lower Nigerian village, Igwedo and Mbanta in particular, in a 1990s. Why does Munira develop a relationship with Julia? Munira develops a relationship with Julia with an intention to make Wanju jealous. What does the thunder in the sky symbolize? The thunder in the sky symbolizes the threat of the British colonial rule. What was the oracle called in Things Fall Apart? The oracle was called Akbala. Who is the head of the village Nawapur? Motlov Khan is the head of the village Nawapur. What is the meaning of the Bangla title Lal Shalu? The word Lal in Bangla means red and Shalu means a piece of cloth. Therefore, the Bangla title Lal Shalu means a piece of red cloth. How does Mojit behave towards the old man? Mojit behaves with the old man in a rude way. Who are the central figures in the novel The God of Small Things? The plot of The God of Small Things centers around Eshtha and Rahel, fraternal boy and girl twins living with their divorced mother Ammu and her family in IMNM. When did Mamachi start making pickles commercially? Mamachi started making pickles commercially when Papachi, her husband, retired from government service and came to live in IMNM. What was Nuzul's first work? Nuzul's first prose work, Boundalar Attukahini, was published in May 1990. Who is Sophie Mole? Sophie Mole, a pivotal character in The God of Small Things, the half-English, half-Indian daughter of Chapo and Margaret Kutsamba. When was Nuzul brought to Dhaka? Qazi Nazrul Islam was brought on 24 May 1972. Why did Mojit take a wife? Mojit, the protagonist of the novel, is a very powerful person. He himself built a mazar for performance of religious activities. He also built an inner house. He also made a rack for rice stocks stored as cattle field, and a shade to keep and milk the cows he had brought. For maintaining the household activities, he badly needed a wife, so he wants a wife to do the household activities. Name the twins in The God of Small Things. Eshtha and Rahel. Eshtha and Rahel. When was the feast of the New Yam held every year in Umufia? The feast of the new yam was held every year before the harvest began. Who is Wanja? Wanja is the granddaughter of Nayaki Nwawa. After working as a barmaid in the town, she has returned to her grandmother is Ilmoro. Then, after a brief disappearance, she again comes to live with her grandmother. How widely was Okon well known? He was well known throughout the 9 villages and even beyond. What type of person is Yunuka? Okunko's father is a lazy and wasteful man. What is the greatest temple? The heart of the man is the greatest temple. How did Okunko cure Izinma's illness? Okonko believes it is Iba's sickness, and he gathers herbs and begins to prepare a medicine for Izinma. The girl is held over a concoction of herbs and hot water and forced to breathe in steam. Why does Majid marry again? Majid marries again to have children. How did Sophie Mole die? Sophie Mole died by accident. Who is Chaco? Chaco is the son of Papachi, Banar Ipe, and Mamachi Shoshamma of the IMNM family in Kerala, as presented in The God of Small Things. What is the main theme of the poem Shammuvadi? The main theme of Nuzul's poem Shammuvadi is an artistic inspiration to combine and establish religious equality with socio-economic equality. What kind of song is Be Our My Captain? It is a patriotic chorus. What caste does Valutha belong to? The caste is untouchable Paravan. Who are murdered in Petals of Blood? 3 influential business magnates, Mjigo, Chui, and Kimeria are murdered. All of them are the directors of the Thang Etta Breweries and Enterprise Limited. What is Wanju's new job? Wanju's new job at Ilmoro is as a barmaid in Abdullah's shop. Who are the Samaritans? A Samaritan is a charitable or helpful person. Munira, Abdullah, and Karega are called the good Samaritans because they have taken measures to do something for the drought-ridden people of Ilmoro. Who was Amalinze? Amalinze was a great wrestler. He had been unbeaten for 7 years within the area from Eumiophia to ambino. What is new yam? A yam is a sweet potato. In things fall apart, it is a festival to give thanks to Earth Goddess Any just before the harvest. What is the source of the title of Novel Things Fall Apart? The title of the novel is taken from the poem The Second Coming, written by W.B. Yeats. What is the meaning of the Bangla title Lal Shalu? Lal Shalu means a piece of red cloth. What is the profession of Masjid in Garo Hills? In Garo Hills, Masjid was a muazzin. What does Thorio comment about legislators? He says no man with a genius for legislation has appeared in America. They are rare in the history of the world. Who is molested Eshtha? Eshtha was molested by the orangutan lemon drink man. What age did Amu died at the age of 31? Amu died. Who is Valutha? Valutha is a paravan. He is the male protagonist of The God of Small Things. His affair with Amu, betrayal, and brutal death make up much of the novel's tragedy. Who sets fire to Wanju's brothel? Munira wants to save Karega from Wanju's immoral influence. So Munira sets Wanju's brothel on fire in order to kill Wanja. Which film does the family from IMNM watch in Cochin? He last talk is what special musical skill did Yunuka have? He was a great flute player. Which university did Chaco go to? Chaco was an undergraduate at Delhi University and was a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford. Why was the wrestler Emma Lindsay nicknamed the cat? Emma Lindsay was called a cat because his back would never touch the earth. That is, he was never defeated. Who inspired the villagers to go the Nairobi and talk to their MP? Karega. Why did Majid leave his own village? One night, Saint Shah Siddiqui tells him in a dream to go to Mohabbatpur. He also asks him to tell the villagers to take care of his mazar and to honor him. So Majid leaves Garo Hills and come to Mohabbatpur. But actually, he leaves Garo Hills to change his fortune. Why does Akebi borrow the title of his novel from? The phrase things fall apart is taken from the poem The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats. Why did Majid punish Amina? When a new peer came to Nagpur, she wanted to get some water blessed by the peer so that she could conceive. Mojit took it as an insult, so he punished her. Why did baby Kochamma convert to Roman Catholicism? To win the heart of Father Mulligan, baby Kochamma converted to Roman Catholicism. Which poem of Nuzrul has the following lines? My words, comrade, are not false. There is no greater temple or house of God than this heart of man. The equality and that happy land. What is the meaning of Bangla title Lal Shalu? Lal Shalu means a piece of red cloth. How does the ordinary grave take the shape of a mazar? Mujid appears in the village and clears the grave. The grass and trees are cut so that sunlight can reach the place. Because the place remains in darkness for long, she mends the tomb artistically. Its upper surface is covered with the red cloth with silver trimmings. That is the symbol of holiness. Holy men's grave are warped by red cloth. In this way, the ordinary grave takes the shape of a mazar. Why did Majid take a wife? Majid, the protagonist of the novel, is a very powerful person. He himself built a mazar for the performance of religious activities. He also built an inner house. He also made a rack for rice stalks stored as cattle field and a shade to keep and milk the cows he had brought. For maintaining the household activities, he badly needs a wife. So he wants a wife to do his household activities. Why are the central figure in the novel the god of who are the central figures of the novel the god of small things? The plot, the god of small things, centers around Eshtha and Rahel, fraternal boy and girl twins living with their divorced mother Ammu and her family in IMNM. In what sense Valutha is a social rebel? Valutha was never a criminal or a party to evil, but he committed what society would call antisocial act. Society was never kind to him, and like a true rebel, he sought his philosophy in himself and acted never bothering about the consequences. Which scriptures does the poet refer to in his poem of Equity and Happy Land? The poet refers the Quran, the Vedas, the Bible, the Jinda Vesta and the Granth Sahib in his poem of equality and that happy land. What should a man do to acquire wisdom? The poet suggested that a man should open his heart through spiritual exercise, and then he would find theory and all the holy books, all the religions and all prophets. Who was Genghis Khan was the founder and great Khan Emperor of the Mongol Empire, which by the end of his life occupied a great portion of Central Asia and China. Many people came to the oracle. From far and near people came to the oracle when misfortune dogged their steps or when they had dispute with their neighbors. They came to discover what the future held for them or to consult the spirits of their departed fathers. Why and how was Ike Mefuna killed? When the group of men reached a forest outside Umufia, one of them struck Ike Mefuna with his machete. Then Ike Mefuna cried out, "My father, they have killed me." And as he ran towards Okonko cut him down with his machete. What did Mr. Brown's prophecy. He prophesied that the leaders of the land in the future would be men and women who had learned to read and write. If you move your failed to send her children to school, strangers would come from other places to rule them. What message did the court messengers give? They gave the message that the white man, the commissioner, had ordered that meeting to stop. When did Waliullah work as a sub-editor of the Statesman in Calcutta? He worked as a sub-editor of the Statesman in Calcutta during 1945 থেকে 1947. What is the meaning of the Bangla title Lal Shalu? The word Lal in Bangla means red and Shalu means a piece of cloth. Therefore, the Bangla title Lal Shalu means a piece of red cloth. How does the Peer's fame grow? Countless tales about the Peer's marvelous powers passed from mouth to mouth, from village to village, and even from one region to another. He commanded respect and reverence as the guardian of a saint's grave, now embellished with a red cloth, silver trimmings, and a yellow canopy. But there were no miraculous tales about any spiritual power to his credit. Who are the central figures in the novel The God of Small Things? The plot of The God of Small Things centers around Esther and Rahel, fraternal boy and girl, twin living with their divorced mother Ammu and her family in IMNM. Why was Papaji jealous of Mamaji? Papaji was jealous of Mamaji's public reputation as a pickle maker. How did Papaji behave with Mamaji? Papaji beat his wife Mamaji every night with a flower vase, even without any cause. What does the poet mean when he says, I am in dense, intoxicated rhyme? Rhythm. Here the poet associated the rebel with the god Shiva, who is the god of dancing. What do you mean by Hambir, Chanta and Hindol? Hambir, Chayanata and Hindol are particular musical modes of forms. Who was Okoe? Okoe was a neighbor of Yonoka, and from him Yonoka borrowed some money. Who was Chielo? She was the priestess of Agbala, the oracle of the hills and caves. Who was Maduka? Maduka is Obi Erika's son. Maduka wins a wrestling contest in his mid-teens. On Okonko wishes he had promising manly sons like parts of speech. Part অর্থ অংশ এবং speech অর্থ বাক্য বা কথা